Hi YouTube, welcome to another video of You and What Army. This one will be about army selection. How do you pick an army when you're just getting into a game or thinking about getting into a game? And how did I go about choosing Tyranids? There's a lot of different considerations that can come into play, and it can depend on your game system. I'm going to be looking at this from 40k, keeping with the Tyranids. And I'd say there's probably about three main considerations that people tend to look at when they're choosing a force for a war game. So the first would probably be the fluff or the story. That's just more of a role-playing consideration. And to be honest, it's sort of the one I look at the least. The closest I get to fluff or story is what other pop culture characters or entities does it remind me of that I enjoy. For example, Tyranids reminded me of aliens, Zerg, although some of you might argue it's the other way around, and you'd be right. Zerg are definitely based off of the 40k universe along with StarCraft, but that's another topic. Another consideration would be the appearance of the army. That sort of ties into that for me as well. Just how does the army look? Does it catch your eye? Do you want to paint a lot of models that look like that in a system like 40k where you can get quite a few, especially with Tyranids or something like Imperial Guard? You can get a lot of models, and if you don't want to paint 10 of them, you're not going to want to paint a full army. The next consideration requires probably the most amount of research, and that's just the rules or the play style of the army. I saw Tyranids played, and I really liked some of the things about them, like the burrowing, working as deep strike, just the fact that they can spawn units through things like the Tervagon, the spore pods, things like that. I mean, you'll see it, you can ask around, and if something catches your eye, that might be the army for you as well. Some minor considerations, you can take into the number of models that the army tends to field. For example, Grey Knights, you're not going to have very many, and Tyranids, you're going to have quite a few, or Imperial Guard. The other one that some people tend to take into consideration is if they start playing with friends, you kind of sit down and figure out who's going to play what, and hopefully you're not the one stuck with the last one. And I would say that those are pretty much the main considerations, main reasons why I went into it. I like the look of Tyranids. I like that they remind me of those other things that I enjoy. Just the fact, I mean, I know enough about the story, even though I'm not a big buff on it by any means, that I like that they're kind of just a force. They just kind of consume and do their own thing. I probably wouldn't have chosen them if I didn't have an airbrush. It's not to say that you need an airbrush, but for me it makes it easier. I mostly just use it for base coating, not much detail or anything like that. I prefer to blend by hand with a brush, but that's just because I need more practice with the airbrush. And I think that should about cover it for that. So take care, and thank you for watching.